Welcome to Sake Soul Stories, where love is not a fleeting spark, but a flame that matures with time. Tonight, I invite you into the tender, lifelong love of Mia and Ryan, two souls who discovered that marriage is not only about beginnings, but about the glow that ripens through seasons, traditions, places, and silences. Their story began in spring, young and restless. They could not stop seeking each other's eyes. Mia was shy at first, her laughter bubbling like a brook that surprised even herself, while Ryan carried that eagerness of youth, the way his gaze lingered just a little too long, unable to hide his admiration. Love then was impatient, like blossoms rushing to open in the first warm sun. Every word between them carried weight. Every meeting felt like destiny. They found excuses to walk the same street, linger at the same cafe, borrowed the same books. Their hands brushed once, and both of them laughed nervously, but that single touch lingered in memory for days. When they married, the world around them celebrated. Families joined, friends danced, traditions flowed like music. The fragrance of flowers, the hum of blessings, the vows whispered between trembling lips, all of it wrapped them in reverence. To them, it was not just a wedding, it was a sacred beginning. They moved into their first home, a small apartment that barely fit their dreams but overflowed with joy. The kitchen became their first stage of partnership. Mia, carrying recipes from her mother's hands, cooked curries rich with spices, bread that sometimes burned, desserts that sometimes failed. Ryan teased her endlessly, sneaking tastes before dishes were ready, calling even the simplest meals feasts because she had made them. Food was never just food. It was devotion. It was memory. It was laughter bubbling between spoons and kisses stolen over simmering pots. Work life entered quickly, bringing long hours and weary evenings. Ryan would return late from the office, shoulders heavy, but Mia always left a warm plate waiting. She learned his favorite tea, how he liked it strong, with little sugar, and placed it on his desk when he worked at home. He, in turn, tucked small notes into her purse. "You're my peace, you're my forever." In those gestures, they built a private world that no deadline or fatigue could steal from them. Festivals and traditions became the lanterns of their life. They lit diyas at Diwali, their fingers brushing as they placed each lamp in the window, whispering wishes not only for prosperity, but for love that would never dim. They decorated trees at Christmas, even after their children grew, because rituals, they believed, were not about religion alone, but about keeping joy alive. During spring festivals, they walked through markets hand in hand, colors and music swirling around them, yet always stealing glances at one another, silently confessing that even in crowds, they belonged to each other. Soon children came, and with them, sleepless nights and endless responsibilities. Their summer season of life was hot, noisy, overwhelming, cradling newborns at midnight, wiping tears, balancing careers, worrying about bills. It all pressed down heavily, but together they bore it. There were moments when exhaustion threatened to drown affection, but in those hours, love changed its shape. It became a gentle hand on a tired back, a kiss pressed onto a worried forehead, a whispered, "We'll manage." Their romance shifted, but never vanished. It adapted to the weight of parenthood, growing steadier, richer. Even in the chaos, their friendship thrived. They laughed over spilled milk, sang lullabies off-key, invented bedtime stories for their children, and sometimes fell asleep in the middle of them, both exhausted, both leaning into each other. Their home was not perfect, but it pulsed with loyalty and tenderness. Friends watched them with a mix of amusement and admiration. Some teased Ryan for how often his eyes sought Mia in gatherings. Others whispered about how Mia always saved the best piece of dessert for Ryan, as though he was still the boy she once fell for. But to them, these habits were natural, like breathing. They were not performing love, they were living it. Time passed, and autumn arrived. The children grew, the house grew quieter, and Mia and Ryan found themselves rediscovering each other. Walks in the park replaced bedtime chaos. Long dinners replaced quick, hurried meals. They sat side by side, sometimes without words, but their silences were never empty. They were filled with presence. They traveled together, wandering through small towns, sitting by lakes, lighting incense in temples, whispering prayers in cathedrals. For them, spirituality was not only in rituals, but in reverence for each other. Ryan once told Mia, "When you rest your head on my chest, it feels like prayer answered." She smiled, whispering, "And when you say my name, it feels like blessing received." And so their marriage flowed on, golden and tender, every season leaving its fragrance behind. As years rolled forward, Mia and Ryan entered the golden autumn of their love. The children had grown and flown, their laughter echoing in memories now. The house quieter but not emptier. Instead, it held a new rhythm, slower, gentler, yet full. Mornings began with tea shared by the window, steam rising between them as they watched the sun climb lazily into the sky. Sometimes they spoke of dreams, sometimes of errands, and sometimes not at all. Their silence was not absence, it was presence. To sit together, to sip from cups, to lean against one another, that was enough. They began to rediscover life as two again. Walks in parks where autumn leaves crunched beneath their feet, traveling to places they had once only dreamed of when money was scarce. Sitting in temples, their hands folded, eyes closed, whispering prayers not only for health and children, but for each other. That their love would stay as steady as the flame of the lamp. Spirituality flowed between them not as doctrine, but as reverence. Ryan once said, "When I hold your hand here, it feels holier than any prayer." Mia smiled softly, answering, "And when you look at me like this, I feel seen as the goddess I never thought I was." Their anniversaries became more tender with each passing year. At 25 years together, Ryan told her, "I'd still choose you." At 30 years, he laughed, "I've already chosen you thousands of times. Every single morning I wake beside you." At 40 years, Mia kissed his cheek and whispered, "I thought I understood love when we began, but now I know it only ripens." Their milestones were not about parties or gifts, but about quiet promises, spoken again in whispers, lived again in touch. Winter arrived softly, with silver threads weaving through their hair, with slower steps and quieter evenings. But their love grew warmer. Mia found joy in cooking his favorite meals, flavors that reminded them of their youth. Ryan found joy in watching her move through the kitchen, still humming the same songs she had when they were young. He teased her gently, saying, "The food tastes better because you season it with your music." She rolled her eyes, but her laughter rang out, golden as ever. Their habits grew holier with time. Ryan still left his shoes in the wrong place, and Mia still sighed before moving them, but secretly she loved it, because it was him, because it was familiar, because it meant he was home. Mia still left her books scattered across the table, and Ryan gathered them up each night, not because he minded, but because he loved the proof of her presence in every corner. These little rituals became their poetry. There were storms too, even in winter, health scares, losses, days of weariness, but they met these storms together, side by side. Ryan held Mia's hand when she wept over the loss of her mother, whispering, "Her love still lives in you, and through you, in me." Mia sat beside Ryan when illness weighed him down, reading softly to him, her fingers tracing circles on his palm. Their loyalty became their healing, and through it all, their craving for each other's presence deepened. Mia waited for the sound of Ryan's footsteps every evening, a habit she never lost, even after decades. Ryan searched for her face in every gathering, his eyes softening when they found her. They leaned into each other's nearness, as though it were air, as though without it, they could not breathe. Their grandchildren came, filling their home once again with laughter, but Ryan and Mia still found moments to steal away. Sitting on the porch at twilight, watching the younger ones play, Ryan slipped his hand into Mia's. She looked at him, smiling with the same mischievous glint she had in her youth. "Still holding my hand?" she teased. "Always," he said simply. "It's the only place my hand belongs." Their marriage had become prayer itself. Every touch was worship, every embrace blessing, every silence devotion. People who saw them understood that love was not about fireworks, but about presence. Not about fleeting sparks, but about the glow that endures. And when asked, even after 40, 50 years, would you still choose each other? Their answer was steady, unwavering, yes. Not out of fear, not out of need, but out of reverence. Because the one they longed for was the one who stayed. Because every season, every milestone, every tradition, every silence had only made them more precious to each other. Mia often thought, to be with him is to breathe easier, to walk lighter, to feel life soften. Ryan often thought, to hold her is to hold eternity, to touch the divine itself. And both knew their secret. Their love had not weakened with years. It had grown richer, sweeter, eternal. They learned to taste life together the way they tasted food, slowly, gratefully, with laughter in the kitchen and music in the background. On quiet Sundays, she ground spices in a small stone mortar, while he chopped vegetables too big and uneven. Pretending not to notice her smile as she fixed them, the pan hissed. The house filled with cumin and ginger and childhood. He set the table with care, always placing her favorite bowl on the left, always topping her rice with a spoon of ghee because he knew she liked the way it softened the edges of a hard day. Some evenings they tried new recipes from faraway places: Tuscan soups, Thai curries, flaky pastries that never looked like the picture but tasted like celebration. Food was not just food. It was a diary of their marriage. Each meal, a small love letter written in steam and spice. Traditions stitched their years together. In spring, they visited the market for marigolds and mangoes, bargaining with happy stubbornness, sharing a tender victory grin over a good price. In summer, they drove to the coast, where salt clung to their skin and the horizon felt like an invitation. He collected shells like a boy, she collected sunsets like prayers. Autumn brought festivals, lanterns at windows, rangoli at doorways, friends crowding around the dining table, the house ringing with stories and the clink of plates. Winter meant warm shawls, a kettle always singing, books shared like secrets. Even when schedules were loud and life was messy, they guarded their rituals the way one guards a flame in wind. Work wove itself through their days without stealing the soul of them. He had seasons of late nights and tight deadlines. She had seasons of meetings and miles to travel. They learned the choreography of Kashi, sent him a photo of the evening sky when he couldn't step outside. He texted, "Proud of you," after every hard presentation. He ironed her scarf before a big day. She left a silly doodle on his notepad, a tiny umbrella sheltering the word you. Neither job was the rival of their love. Both were rooms in a home whose foundation was the way they reached for each other without being asked. Their friends became an extension of that home. Birthdays sprawled into long nights. The air fizzed with gossip and guitar chords. Someone always burned the bread, and someone always confessed a truth. Mia and Ryan were the quiet center of its refilling plates. Remembering allergies, noticing the one who grew too silent, and drawing them back with gentle questions. People teased them for their closeness. You two are glued together. But it was said with affection, the kind that recognizes a rare thing and wishes it for everyone. They traveled like pilgrims, sometimes to temples brushed with sandalwood and bells, sometimes to tiny chapels where light fell like forgiveness, sometimes to mountains where prayer was simply breath and altitude. He closed his eyes when priests chanted. She closed hers when wind combed the pines. Together they opened them to each other, as if to confirm that reverence was safest when shared. In a distant city, they found a cafe with a window seat. Month after month, they tried to recreate its chocolate cake at home, laughing every time the center sank and calling it volcano love. It became their joke. Not perfect, but warm and irresistible. Habits turned into a private liturgy. She left her earrings near the sink. He found them like treasure, setting them carefully on her dresser. He mislaid his glasses. She wore them on her head for 10 minutes, only to return them with mock ceremony. They took evening walks at a pace that matched the day fast when the world had been heavy, slow when it had been kind. On hard nights, they sat back to back on the floor, spine to spine, grounding each other with quiet presence until words returned. On soft mornings, they shared a single shawl on the balcony and counted birds, the sky slowly dissolving into blue tea. Milestones arrived and softened them further. The day their child left for college, the door clicked shut and the house echoed. She smiled bravely until the car turned the corner, then wept into his neck. He didn't speak. He just held her, a harbor with room for every tide. Years later, at a graduation far from home, they stood in a crowd and found each other's hands at the exact same breath, joy making them young again. Their 25th anniversary passed in candlelight and quiet awe. Their 40th tasted like peppermint and memory. On an ordinary Tuesday between them, he whispered, "I would still cross the world to sit next to you on a bus." There were illnesses, too scarce, that turned hours into glass. They met those winters with shawls of patience. She read aloud when he could not sleep. He learned her pills by color and time. They learned that tenderness could be fierce, that devotion could be a shield. When fear pressed down, they moved closer, not away to two birds sheltering under the same wing. And always, the longing never dulled. Not the frantic hunger of beginnings, but a deeper craving, presence as nourishment, touch as meaning. In crowded rooms they scanned for each other, relief pricking the skin when their eyes met. On lonely afternoons they called, just to hear the other say, "I'm here." At night, their bodies remembered the map of belonging, her hand over his heart, his palm at the curve of her shoulder, the unspoken vow in the way they fit. The world complicated many things. Holding each other simplified everything. Years layered them like silk upon silk, and desire changed its accent, but not its song. He watched her pin up her hair and felt the same astonishment he'd felt decades earlier. She saw the patience at the edges of his mouth, the kindness gathered there by time, and wanted to kiss that history. Even their laughter ripened, even their quiet gleamed. If you asked them how love had survived the weather, they would point to the small, stubborn practices that made a life. Eat together when you can. Speak gently when you can't. Forgive faster than you're sure. Keep one pocket full of jokes. Keep the other full of thanks. Notice the work the other does that no one claps for. Learn the shape of their tiredness and meet it with your warmest blanket. Say "I'm sorry" like a key. Say "I'm grateful" like a lamp. If faith is a daily practice, so is love. And because stories should leave the heart with something it can hold, their years whisper a few soft truths as the music fades. Cherish presence over perfection. A tender dinner on the couch is better than a flawless feast eaten alone. Make small habits sacred. The hand you take while crossing the street becomes the hand you won't let go in storms. Forgive quickly, love slowly. You cannot rush the ripening of trust, but you can protect it with mercy. Celebrate loyalty. The world may praise sparks, but a steady flame warms a lifetime. Choose each other every day, not just at the altar, but in kitchens and parking lots and doctors' offices and Tuesdays. If you are listening with longing, let your longing be blessed. Marriage is not the end of romance. It is romance learning all your seasons and loving you through them. It is the taste of home in a simple meal, the safety of a mother's hug in the arms of your beloved, the holiness of a prayer answered softly over years. It is two people deciding that their favorite place will be each other. Welcome, always, to Sake Soul Stories, where we hold this truth gently. Love does not fade when tended, it deepens. May your days be seasoned with kindness, your nights sheltered by warm arms, your milestones threaded with loyalty, your journeys lit by shared laughter. And when the world grows loud, may you find your quiet in the same place Mia and Ryan always did, in the nearness of the one you choose, again and again, for a lifetime.